Some 38 minutes after 8, there was a story in one of the newspapers, very bizarre. But you know, and I did say that we will talk about it. So check this out. Some residents of Tema New Town are bathing at the beach in a bid to be purged of what they describe as mysterious deaths that has hit the town, guys.
Yeah, and we know it's all about residents.
Indeed, they are attributing the deaths to an alleged stealing of an emblem of traditional worship and a cloth. Now, to prevent more deaths, they're heeding the advice of the chief of Tema New Town, Niaje Kraku II, to bathe in the sea at a fee of 1 cedi. Check this out.
This is what they did.
Lots of them. Everyone from the community jumping into the sea at 1 cedi each. I don't know whether it's the bathing in the sea that they're being charged for or some other.
Or the cleansing.
Yes.
Well,
cleansing.
That's
process.
why Maxwell Agbagba is in the community live this morning. It may sound bizarre, unbelievable to us, but there's a reason they're doing this, and obviously the people believe in this. So Maxwell Agbagba is standing by with the chief priests, the priests in the town, and they would explain. All right, so let's link up with Maxwell Agbagba now. Maxwell, over to you. All ears.
16 deaths in one community, Aboechewe. Now, the update is that yesterday evening, another person died. That was after the chief priest of the community advised the residents to go and take a spiritual bath at the shore, at the seaside, just right here. So yesterday we had a lot of people from Temamang and Aboechewe going to the beach to go and swim in the ocean in a spiritual cleansing exercise. But yesterday, even after that cleansing, in the evening, another person died, and we are in the home.
All right, so apologies there, but you haven't missed anything, because we're going to go back to Maxwell Agbagba when we have a stable connection. He's back.
So when he didn't pass by her house yesterday.
No, no, just a bit. Not like a general. Not like a
General Hospital.
No, not any agbo.
Well, she says he was rushed to the Tema General Hospital where, unfortunately, he passed on, there. No, I'm a mini feel it, Danny.
Look at the Kulama Banaka, a bay while low, I way, low, I way. I can look on the
Well, she says nothing was wrong with the deceased. He didn't complain of headache, he didn't complain of pains in the leg or any part of his body. But the strange part of this death also is that her obi enyani bele ne ba bian. Okay, so this is a third child who is passing on at this point. Between maybe ni belieba.
Well, on the patch, like Nako. I struggle. Oh, I believe when I'm getting
Two months. Okay.
One for the no for 2 months.
Okay, so she says her first child died 2 months ago. The second one maybe.
I'm gonna do 1 week.
Okay, and then the second child died exactly a week ago. The third one ago. Okay, and then the third one died just yesterday, Wednesday evening. No, me to ma bi work she. Kokwe no ninja no manche tacho Aboechewe. Kokwe no ninja no ni be men gbogbo gbele na ni ba na ni ojomo eti jeme be alo.
Jomo fe basa. Ngbomo tashishi. Jomo
Kokwe connection ko ye between noni yano kegbele and Libane.
Be back with any about she couldn't walk away. Couldn't walk on
Okay. Well, I was asking her whether she thinks there's any correlation or connection between the strange deaths happening in this community and then the death of her child. She says they would have to investigate and then find out exactly what is happening. But I have okay. So she's a relative. Nimfie no what you saying?
Onukwache 65.
Okay, that me patch said you woo and ram.
Ebana to 42 years.
Okay. So
Day party Azuma. Na Ebana to 42.
okay. So she says the one who passed on yesterday is actually 42 years. How am I being? Like, we've been interacting with the people in this community. A lot of them are scared. Okay, but maybe kuchu nemi. Pie I mean shegbe no ni ya no.
Biane mo fia mo shegbe yi. Ake no ne ba mo fia mo shegbe o ya me pie mo ma me bi. Ni ko ahe ni poja nchepo esmo ne bi ba esmo ni le nye je nchepo e ahe ni ka ba he bi le ya ke ni ne be fe gbe yi. A wo fe wo shegbe yi. Wona kwe ne kudan agbo mo she ne le wona kwe kudan. O ba pa government e fa ne wa wona bote ni keni bi na mi ojugba keje na kan be teme ba hwe tema mai fulu ni gbeme yin mi ya ka wo ke gbo eni yo ma na mi ni je ma na bi pe si gbo un fituo.
Okay, well, she says a lot of them are scared living in this community now, and they want government's intervention and, you know, what is happening. She says if care is not taken, the community may just be left empty without people. But we've heard from the Ghana Health Service, they really...
All right, so Maxwell Agbagba, in this community where they're recording some deaths, and the women that he was interacting with, one of them has lost 3 children and lost one just overnight, really. And this is still very scary. So the Daily Graphic, guys, the Daily Graphic reported on this issue. There's an angle which says Health Service sends team to investigate. You know, because you can't just be recording deaths.
Yeah,
it must be because of something.
Yeah, because in the absence of the superstition, the only plausible cause for the death would be a health factor. And I think that the reason why it may not have been picked because it's not a regular public health disease or a cause of the deaths. And so if it were, then easily maybe the lab tests, etc. would have. So maybe they have to pick samples and send them to Noguchi, which is a main surveillance.
Now, the first time Ebola was discovered in the Congo, I think it was, there was again a traditional, religious leader who took credit for the killings. At that time, the killings had risen to something like 20 in a community, 20 to 30, and he took credit for it and said that he was, exacting some sort of vengeance on everybody, and everybody had to come and pay something and all of that, until he himself died. And then it became clear that there was something else, going on. That's when the word was, sent out. By then it was too late. People had traveled from the community to other communities, and it spread, and we all know what happened. So I'm glad that the health services are paying attention to this. We should pay attention to them and get them to give us as much information as possible, as soon as possible. I mean, this does not discount any superstition. If people believe that this is something that has been superstitiously engineered, yes, but still, yes,
Absolutely.
there is still a need for public health.
And it is important that we add the voice to the call, that people should resort to the proper or well investigated or scientific means by which we can find out the cause of deaths over a certain period. Because if you look at the guidelines of the WHO, when there are a number of deaths over a certain period, especially short-termish, or just a short period as we have it, then it cannot be necessarily a superstitious belief or a god who is causing it. You know, the incident recorded along the Volta Lake, in the Volta region specifically, in which they ate puffer fish.
Yes.
And puffer fish is ate extensively in the islands of Japan and elsewhere in Asia. They know how to prepare it. But you know, puffer fish has, is bile or something. It's poisonous. And so if we don't prepare it well, just like we have a bile of a chicken or any of them, and you have to prepare it in such a way that, yes. So, but that one is poisonous, you will die. And so they know how to prepare it. And so when the deaths were being recorded a number of times, then they got to know that no, it should be the fish. Yeah. But initially, the traditional leaders and those in the area had taken credit for it.
We've recorded incidents like that in other places where the people thought it was strange. You remember the Bankun one?
Yes.
Yes. You know, but eventually it was because of something. But some details in the paper. Alarmed by the situation, the Tema Metropolitan Assembly and the Tema Traditional Council, after separate meetings with health personnel, called for calm while investigations were being carried out to establish the cause of deaths. But fast forward to this report in the Daily Graphic. They attribute some of the deaths to drunkenness, and then they give also a description of how some of them died. Swollen feet. A mother died out of shock after her son had died. So there are other things related to the deaths, not just.
Well, but
we've
you see,
heard a bulk number.
Are these medical declarations, or is this the eyewitness who says, "Oh, she died out of shock"? But how do you know that perhaps it wasn't something she had caught from the son who died? You know, so that's why it's so important for us to get. Because look, even when God was killing people in the Old Testament, he sent a plague, right? So there is always a scientific, there's a scientific method by which superstitious things happen. So there is always a need for us to,
absolutely.
Look into.
I'm glad though that the traditional authorities also see the need for investigations to be done. So we're not just saying we're not just saying and at some point in the story they are disassociating themselves with the directive for them to wash themselves in the sea to cleanse. So that's like one person's belief.
Because washing yourself in the sea itself, because of its brine in nature, so it has got some effects on perhaps cleansing diseases on the skin, etc. But I don't think that if this is really caused by a certain chain of activities, then it has to be well investigated.
Well, this is where we have to leave this conversation. We're going to continue on News Desk at 10 a.m. with all the angles covered. Right now, though, hopefully it's not as.
If you go to Benin, they have a lot of ghosts. I don't know why they don't die a lot.
Stay with us. We'll bring you some show business. The beautiful Becky is coming up. Courtesy Awake Purified Drinking Water.